In the quiet moments before the world wakes up, there is a choice to be made. This is not a choice between good and evil, success and failure, or rich and poor. It is a choice between submission and domination. Every person, deep inside, carries the raw potential to rise above mediocrity, to step beyond limitation, and to transform themselves into a force that cannot be ignored. But this transformation does not come naturally. It is not inherited, handed down, or granted. It is earned. Earned through sweat, solitude, discipline, and an unrelenting refusal to break under pressure. There's a fundamental difference between those who move with purpose and those who move with permission. One waits for opportunity, the other creates it. One seeks approval, the other defines the standard. This difference is not surface level, it is rooted deep in mindset. The one who has chosen the path of ownership wakes up with a mission: to dominate the day, not survive it. To bend circumstances to his will, not be shaped by them. He doesn't negotiate with doubt, and he certainly doesn't entertain excuses. There's an internal compass, calibrated not by external rewards but by internal standards. These standards are immovable, non-negotiable, and they form the foundation of a life forged through fire. The alpha mindset is not a fantasy or motivational gimmick. It is a call to personal responsibility. It says everything you are, everything you will be, is under your control. No one is coming to save you. No one is obligated to help you win. You want results? You build them. You want respect? You earn it. This mindset demands that you stop playing victim to your past, your environment, or your fears. The alpha doesn't look around to see who's watching before he acts. He doesn't care who applauds. He leads whether there's an audience or not, because his validation isn't external, it's internal. His sense of worth isn't dictated by compliments. It's carved out through discipline, through the 1,000 daily choices he makes when no one is watching. This level of ownership isn't common. And it's not supposed to be, because uncommon effort creates uncommon results. If everyone had the mindset, there would be nothing remarkable about it. But the truth is, most people fold when the pressure rises. Most settle, they compromise. They water themselves down to make others comfortable. But the one who claims the alpha mindset does the opposite. He sharpens, he trains. He becomes more of who he's meant to be, not less. And that path, while solitary at times, leads to absolute personal power. Owning your inner alpha is not about aggression. It's about authority first over self, then over life. It's about showing up daily with intensity and focus, refusing to drift. It means doing what must be done, especially when it's hard. It means making the hard choices, saying no to distraction, walking away from comfort, delaying gratification for a future no one else sees but you. It's discipline over pleasure, mission over mood, vision over validation. There's a distinct moment in life where a man realizes no one owes him anything. The world doesn't care how hard it's been, and success has no sympathy. At that moment, he has two choices: blame or build. And the alpha builds. He takes every scar, every betrayal, every doubt, and uses them as bricks. While others use pain as an excuse to quit, he uses it as fuel to accelerate. He learns from every setback, not emotionally but strategically. He doesn't complain, he recalibrates. He doesn't sulk, he studies, he doesn't envy. He earns. This mindset isn't loud, it's not about boasting or posturing. It's quiet, controlled, and laser-focused. It's found in early mornings, in sweat-soaked shirts, in pushing one more rep when the muscles scream to stop. It's forged in the mundane, in the repetition of routine, in sacrificing short-term dopamine for long-term dominance. It's waking up when it's easier to sleep in. It's studying when everyone else is scrolling. It's working in silence while others chase applause. Because when you're focused on becoming undeniable, distractions become irrelevant. The alpha doesn't aim to be better than others, he aims to be better than he was yesterday. Every day is war with his former self. He studies himself like an enemy. Where he's weak, he attacks. Where he's soft, he hardens. Where he's inconsistent, he installs discipline. His aim is precision, excellence, mastery, not in one area, but in every domain: body, mind, mission, relationships. He understands that everything he allows, he trains. Every time he tolerates mediocrity, he reinforces it. And that's unacceptable, asterisk. He sets the tone. At home, at work, in life. He does not wait for motivation. He manufactures it through movement. He does not coast. He climbs, even when he's tired, even when he's outnumbered, because he knows the world bows to those who refuse to break. This mindset is ruthless in its demand, but fair in its reward. It does not promise comfort, but it guarantees growth. And that growth becomes the foundation for leadership, not just of others, but of your entire life. Asterisk. People will question you. They'll call it obsessive, too intense, too much. That's fine. Let them settle, let them joke, let them waste years. Because when the storm comes, and it always comes, they'll look for someone who didn't fold, someone who trained while they slept, someone who built the inner architecture to stand when others fell. That's the reward. Not praise, not popularity, but power, the kind that's earned in silence and displayed through action. Asterisk. So the mindset is simple, even if it's not easy. Every day is a test. Every action is a vote. Every thought either builds or destroys. You either rise or you regress. There's no middle ground. And the one who embraces this truth with clarity and conviction begins to shape reality itself, not by accident, but by absolute design. Asterisk. Leadership is not something bestowed. It is something claimed, forged, and proven through action. At the core of the Alpha Wolf mindset is the unshakeable belief that you must take control of your own destiny. Waiting for validation or permission is the mindset of the uncertain. The individual who possesses true internal power steps forward without being invited, speaks without waiting to be heard, and acts without needing applause. Leadership is an attitude long before it is a title. And it starts with owning every moment, every choice, and every consequence. Asterisk. This mentality isn't about arrogance. It's about certainty in your purpose, your discipline, and your direction. You don't lead by shouting orders. You lead by showing up early, staying late, and grinding when no one is watching. Leadership is about walking into every room knowing who you are, what you stand for, and where you're headed even if nobody else gets it. It's the decision to rise while others sleep, to act when others hesitate, to execute when others make excuses. Asterisk. When you embrace this kind of ownership, everything changes. You stop blaming circumstances, people, or systems. You recognize that your results are a reflection of your standards, your preparation, your focus. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? It's a shift from victim to architect. You start building your life, not waiting for someone to design it for you. That shift is subtle, but powerful. It's the foundation of real leadership. No one hands you the blueprint. You build it as you go. Asterisk. Being a leader requires decisiveness. In the wild, hesitation is death. In the real world, it's defeat. There will be moments when the path is unclear, when doubt creeps in, when fear whispers lies in your ear. But leadership demands clarity of intention. Even if the road is dark, you choose to walk it with your head up and your pace steady. You trust that action will reveal the path more than overthinking ever could. A leader doesn't always have the answers, but they have the resolve to keep moving forward. Asterisk. This kind of mental framework demands a high level of emotional control. Leadership isn't emotional outbursts or dramatic gestures. It's stability under pressure. When chaos erupts, the leader becomes the calm. When tensions rise, the leader remains focused. You don't let emotions hijack your principles. That discipline, the ability to hold the line, is what makes others follow your lead. It's not about being the loudest voice, but the most grounded. Presence. Asterisk. And here's the thing. Leaders don't operate from ego, they operate from responsibility. You take ownership not just for your success, but for your mistakes. You don't pass the blame down the line. You don't dodge accountability, you face it, and in doing so, you earn trust. People follow those who are real, those who can admit failure and still move with conviction. Because integrity is rare, and when people see it, they gravitate toward it. That's the mark of real leadership, standing tall not only when you win, but when you fall. Asterisk. To truly lead, you must first learn to lead yourself. That means mastering your routines, your impulses, your thoughts. You train your mind like a weapon, sharpening it daily. You maintain discipline even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. That self-leadership builds unbreakable confidence because it comes from knowing you've already done the work. You don't need to fake strength, you've earned it. Asterisk. The world doesn't need more people trying to fit in. waiting for someone to give them a shot. The world needs people willing to stand up and take the shot. People who are ready to take the heat, shoulder the pressure, and still deliver. That's leadership. That's ownership. It's not always comfortable, and it's rarely convenient. But it's the difference between staying average and becoming extraordinary. People often confuse leadership with control. But real leaders don't cling to control, they create clarity. They light the path so others can walk it. They don't push people around, they pull people forward. Their energy, discipline, and consistency create a gravitational force that draws others into a higher standard. That happens not by force, but by example. The most powerful leaders don't demand respect, they inspire it. Ownership means you know who you are and what you represent. You define your own code and you live by it daily. That personal code becomes your internal compass. It helps you navigate when the world is chaotic, when the rules change, when the system is broken. Your code keeps you steady, not because the world is predictable, but because you are. The discipline to live by your code builds an inner strength that no setback can shatter. At this level of self-leadership, silence becomes powerful. You don't need to announce your vision every day, your results speak, your presence carries. Wait, you walk with a quiet fire, a certainty that comes from work done in the dark, from sacrifices no one else sees. That silence isn't emptiness, it's depth. It's knowing you've already earned the right to stand tall. When you lead from this place, you begin to shape more than your own life. You begin to impact the lives around you. Not by trying to fix them, but by challenging them to rise. You don't ask for permission to do that, you just do it. You live at a higher standard and let that light expose the darkness in others. Some will resist, others will rise. But the impact is inevitable. Leadership isn't given. It's not a nameplate on a door or a title on a business card. It's earned in the grind, in the quiet choices, in the lonely moments when quitting looks easy. It's earned in how you respond. When everything goes sideways, it's earned when you put your mission above your comfort, your values above your image, your purpose above your pride. There's a difference between those who want to lead and those who must. When it's in your blood, when it's tied to your identity, there is no other option. You carry that burden because it's who you are. You take on more because you can. You lead because you were built for it. You don't ask for recognition, you move with purpose because leading is the only way you know how to move. Owning your sovereignty begins with recognizing that your life is your domain. You are not here to be a background character in someone else's narrative. You are here to lead, to dominate your space, to take complete ownership over your path, your pain, your progress, and your power. Sovereignty is not given, it is claimed. It is an internal declaration that no one, no event, no failure, no success, and no circumstance defines you. You define you. And every single day your thoughts, your actions, and your decisions either reinforce that truth or betray it. The mindset of an alpha is built on this foundation. It is a belief, not in perfection, but in personal responsibility. In every challenge, an alpha does not look outward for someone to blame. The question is always, what am I going to do about it? It's an internal dialogue that rejects victimhood. When something falls apart, when a plan doesn't work, when people betray you or life throws chaos at your doorstep, the default setting must be, I'm still in charge. That is the essence of sovereignty, radical, uncomfortable, undeniable ownership. There is no room for excuses when you truly claim this mindset. Excuses are the language of the powerless. They serve to justify inaction, to delay transformation, to escape responsibility. But once you realize no one is coming to save you, no one is obligated to understand you, and no one owes you anything, you begin to take full control. You stop outsourcing your self-worth to external validation. You stop depending on applause to fuel your drive. You move in silence, with clarity, with purpose, because you are no longer seeking permission to be great. When you own your sovereignty, your standards change. You stop tolerating behaviors, thoughts, and environments that dilute your potential. You become meticulous about what enters your mind, who enters your circle, and how you spend your time. You no longer seek comfort in mediocrity. You detach from the need to be liked and start focusing on becoming respected first by yourself, then by the world. Because true power doesn't beg to be noticed. It commands presence without saying a word. The alpha mindset is forged in solitude. Not isolation, but solitude, a sacred space where your soul is refined, your intentions are clarified, and your will is sharpened. It is in the silence where you confront your fears, where you break your own lies, and where you cultivate a strength that no applause or affirmation can offer. It's where you decide, without needing to announce it to anyone, that you are no longer going to live below your calling. That your time, your energy, your presence, these are sacred, and you're done giving them away to people, habits, and thoughts that do not honor your purpose. Asterisk fear will be present. Doubt will speak. But neither fear nor doubt has the final word when you live from a place of sovereignty. The difference lies in the decision to act despite them. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the commitment to action even when fear is screaming. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you reinforce your identity as someone who leads from the front, not just in results but in mindset. You become someone whose word has weight because you live it. You become the kind of person who doesn't flinch in adversity because you've trained yourself to find meaning in the fight. Owning your sovereignty means becoming emotionally self-governed. You are no longer a slave to your impulses, your distractions, or your moods. You observe your emotions without allowing them to hijack your actions. You develop emotional discipline because you know that an untrained mind is the enemy of your evolution. You no longer allow your emotions to dictate your habits. You let your commitments determine your behavior. In doing so, you transform from reactive to proactive, from dependent to dominant, from driven by circumstances to driven by conviction. You don't wait to feel like it. You don't negotiate with laziness. You don't compromise with your lower self. You rise, you move, you execute. Every time you take aligned action, regardless of how you feel, you send a message to your subconscious. I'm in control. That's how you build unshakable confidence, not through affirmation alone, but through action, through repetition, through proof. You begin to trust yourself because your word becomes law. Your follow-through becomes predictable. Your will becomes unstoppable. This doesn't mean you never fall short. It doesn't mean you never struggle. But it does mean you never stay there. You refuse to camp in failure. You refuse to accept defeat as final. You rise from every loss with more clarity, more hunger, and more fire. Because you understand that setbacks are data, not definitions. You know that every moment is a chance to recommit, to recalibrate, and to rise again. That's the power of sovereignty. It doesn't promise perfection. It promises perseverance. And when you walk in this, you start attracting different experiences. Not because the world changes, but because you change. You operate at a different frequency. Your energy speaks before you do. People feel the discipline. They feel the clarity. They sense the conviction. You don't have to prove yourself. Your life becomes the proof. You walk with quiet confidence because you know who you are and where you're going. You no longer need validation to feel worthy because you've already decided that you are. You no longer need applause to move forward because your purpose is louder than their opinions. Sovereignty is a mindset, a choice, a lifestyle. It's not something you wait for. It's something you declare. Every single day, in the small disciplines, in the hard decisions, in the quiet sacrifices. It's a commitment to be the authority of your life, no matter what. To lead yourself with integrity, to show up with intention, and to build a life that doesn't need explanation. A life that is built, not just imagined. A life that speaks for itself.